They say memory is a fragile thing. That it fades, twists, softens over time. But that's not true. Some memories sharpen with age. Some memories burn. Some haunt. For Olivia Carter, memory was fire. She was 7 years old when the fire took her father. It was the middle of January, snow falling hard, moonlight caught in bare branches. Olivia remembered that night more clearly than anything else in her life. The way her father's arms felt as he picked her up to carry her to bed. The scent of wood smoke and soap on his shirt. The half-smile he always wore when she asked for one more story. But that night, there was no story. There was only the sound of shattering glass. The blinding orange behind the curtains. Her mother's scream. And then, darkness. They pulled her from the house seconds before the roof collapsed. Her father never made it out. The fire department said it was faulty wiring. An unfortunate accident in an old farmhouse. But Olivia always knew something wasn't right. There had been voices outside. Footsteps crunching in the snow. Gasoline. She remembered the smell. But a child's memories aren't evidence. So the case was closed. And life moved on. Her mother became a shell of the woman she'd once been. He stopped laughing. Stopped singing in the kitchen. Stopped looking Olivia in the eye. They moved to a rented apartment in a nearby town and never spoke of the fire again. Olivia grew up quiet, careful, observant. Her grief hardened into silence. She buried it beneath textbooks and late-night shifts. By the time she turned 24, she had graduated with a degree in journalism, moved to Chicago and carved out a life that looked from the outside like healing. But the truth was never far behind. It came back the day her mother died. A sudden heart attack. Alone in her apartment. No warning. No goodbye. Olivia flew back for the funeral, numb. She handled the paperwork, cleaned out her mother's things. And then, she found the box. A dusty cedar chest tucked in the back of her mother's closet. Locked but not well. Olivia pried it open, and found a graveyard of truths. Newspaper clippings. Old photographs. Her father's letters. And beneath them something she never expected. A stack of envelopes marked J.H. Every one of them addressed to James Holloway. Her father's brother. The man who inherited the family land. The man who always said, "Let the past rest." But the past wasn't resting. The letters revealed a rift between the brothers. Land disputes, accusations of fraud, hush money. Her father had discovered James was laundering money through the local grain business. When he threatened to expose it, the threats came. And then, the fire. Olivia's breath caught in her throat. It had never been an accident. Her uncle killed her father. Not with his own hands, perhaps, but by arranging it, covering it up, and walking away without a trace of guilt. He sat there for hours staring at the box. She could have let it go. She could have locked it up and never spoken a word. But something inside her had awakened. A storm years in the making. A fire of her own. She returned to Holloway Farms 3 months later under a new name, Claire Sanders, freelance writer. She said she was researching historic family farms in Illinois. No one suspected her. Not even James. He was older now. Gray-haired. Smiling. A respected man in town. President of the county council. Sponsor of the church fundraiser. Generous donor to the high school football team. But beneath that polished exterior, Olivia saw it. The same cold calculation she remembered from the funeral. The way his eyes never truly met hers. The way he talked over people, smiled with his mouth but not his eyes. The way power seemed to cling to him like cologne. She rented a cottage a few miles down the road. Slowly, methodically, she began to dig. Public records. Land deeds. Court filings. She visited county offices, interviewed former employees, pulled tax records dating back 25 years. The deeper she dug, the darker it got. Her uncle's reach stretched wide. Real estate deals that forced families off their land, backdoor bribes to local officials, shell companies masking laundering operations. The man had built an empire on corruption and blood. But none of it would stick without proof. So Olivia waited. She took a part-time job at the grain elevator office. Said she needed cash for her research. Slowly she gained access to internal files. Financial statements. Shipping logs. Payment histories. One night after hours she found it. A ledger, handwritten in a red leather journal. Hidden behind the boiler room. Dated 3 days before the fire. It detailed a payout, $50,000 in cash. Marked only with the initials RD, and a chilling note. Job confirmed. No witnesses. RD was Roy Dandridge. A local handyman. Drifter. He disappeared a week after the fire. And no one ever looked for him. Her hands trembled as she photographed every page. Now she had it. The motive. The link. But she didn't want to just expose James Holloway. She wanted him to lose everything. Olivia leaked anonymous tips to local journalists. She mailed documents to the IRS, the State Attorney General, the Ethics Committee. She arranged for old business partners to be subpoenaed. And then, on the 25th anniversary of the fire, she sent James Holloway a letter. Typed, unmistakable. Your fire didn't kill all of us. One of us survived. And I remember everything. He didn't respond. But the look on his face when he saw her next, white, shaking, furious, told her enough. Within weeks the empire collapsed. Banks froze his accounts. The council removed him. Investigators knocked at his door. For the first time in 25 years, James Holloway looked small. Cornered. Mortal. And Olivia Carter stood in the ashes of his empire. Not with joy but with quiet devastation. Because revenge, she learned, doesn't bring peace. It only balances the scale. She didn't go to the trial. He didn't need to. She went back to the farmhouse instead, now condemned, half-collapsed, overgrown. She stepped into what remained of the porch, sat down, and looked at the horizon the way her father once did. And then, she spoke. I did it, Daddy. I brought him down. But I miss you more than ever. The wind moved through the tall grass like a whisper. And in that moment the ache in her chest softened, not healed, not forgotten, but lighter. She had not just avenged a father. She had reclaimed the truth. Sometimes, that's the most powerful revenge of all.